In this video, I'll be looking at chickens in Counter-Strike and whether they can save your life. Thanks to Fex the owner for allowing me to use his suggestion. First off, I'll quickly explain how damage in Counter-Strike is calculated, so we'll hop on over to the super secret weapons testing facility. Suck on that, Frankie. So anyway, each weapon in Counter-Strike has a base damage which you can see in the buy menu. The AK is 36, the M4A4 is 33, the AWP is 115, and so on. Weapons lose base damage as they travel, at a varying rate depending on how good the weapon is at penetration and what the bullets are travelling through. For example, they lose damage slowly in the air but a lot faster in concrete walls. If a bullet loses its entire base damage, it will stop altogether. So here's an example with no obstructions. I shoot this terrorist with my AWP at close range with 115 base damage which deals him 114 damage. There will always be a bit of variation due to the bullet losing damage in the air or other factors I haven't taken into account. On a leg shot, the bullet does roughly 73% of its base damage. Shots to the abdomen do 125% of the base damage, and shots to the head do about 400% of the base damage. When a player is armoured, shots to the head and body, but not the legs, deal a percentage of damage relative to the weapon's armour penetration. So an AWP's 97.5% armour penetration means it does 97.5% of the base damage to the recipient. As mentioned earlier, travelling through surfaces reduces damage. Chickens also count as surfaces, and in the surface properties _CS file, we can see they're just a little bit harder to penetrate than wood. That came out wrong, but either way, chickens reduce the bullet's damage the same way all surfaces do. The amount of damage the bullet loses depends on the angle you enter and exit the chicken, so if it only goes through the head it isn't going to lose an awful lot, whereas if it goes through the entire body lengthways it can stop an AK bullet entirely. In most tests, the chicken would reduce the damage by an amount between 12 and 40 damage, which might not seem a lot, but remember this is base damage, so if the AK bullet passes through a chicken losing 14 damage, the bullet will only do 22 damage on a body shot, 17 if the target is armoured, and 88 on a headshot, about 68 with a helmet. So the chicken has at this point saved that terrorist's life. I feel there's a conspiracy theory to be had here. It's worth noting that little short of a thick wall can stop an AWP bullet and it's 115 base damage, as it would have to lose around 90 base damage to make an AWP headshot non-lethal, so chickens cannot save you from that. However, for body shots, a reduction of 20 damage is easily enough to weaken them to safe levels, so yes, a chicken could save you from that. And also an otherwise fatal rifle, pistol or LMG headshot. Also note that as the Nova shotgun has 0 penetration, a chicken will stop a Nova pellet instantly. Sadly, a chicken is not sufficient to save you from a scout, AWP or auto sniper headshot, although despite that it could at least block your opponent's vision. Unfortunately, the chance that any of this happens is very low, as chickens only spawn in Inferno in Italy in competitive mode, and there aren't many places where they'll be at the right height to save you, and a tiny chance that they'll be there at the right time. But wait, it's down to chance? Luck? And I've read your comments. Luck doesn't have a place in Counter-Strike. Chickens to OP!